Miss Gestrin started off the procedure that we are doing together by showing you how to write the goal. And let me tell you, some of the stuff you came up with yesterday was so funny. I am so impressed with how funny you've managed to be. I'm actually going to include a couple of samples of the goals people wrote yesterday just to show you how clever some of the grade 2s have been, instead of just me and Miss Gestrin showing you what we can do, as a little bit of a show off before we start the next step. I'm going to insert those here. All right, now that you've had a little giggle at some of the writing that your classmates have been doing, we're going to move on to the next part of our procedure. Now, you know from when we were doing our traditional procedures last week that we have our title and our goal, which you've done. You've got that all organised. And we're going to move on to the next part, which is the materials. The materials list, as we discussed in our traditional procedures, are usually very simple and very well listed. But when we're writing a creative procedure, we're going to start using these clever little things called brackets. And I'm going to stop filming my face now and show you what it looks like on paper because it's much easier to explain. But this is just for the materials list. So you're going to go on with your procedure from yesterday. So you've done the title and the goal, and go on with the materials list for that procedure today. Let me just flip over to my paper so that you can see what I'm talking about. Alrighty, here is your refresher on what Miss Gestrin wrote yesterday. Remember, our procedure is how to feed a dragon. And the goal is, do you have a hungry dragon that needs feeding? It's a bit of a dangerous job. Dragons can be quite grumpy when they're hungry, and their breath can be extremely fiery. Don't worry though, just follow these steps and you should be safe. Remember, we've got that tricky bit there that we need to not forget. And now let's move on to the materials. Here is my materials list. You might be thinking, Miss Smith, have you lost your marbles? That looks exactly the same as a traditional procedure. And you actually would be correct, because at the moment it does. I still have, and it's really important to remember this, I still have each material separated with its own dot point, and they are very clear and easy to follow. For my procedure, or the procedure Miss Gestrin and I are writing together on how to feed a dragon, we only need 4 things. We need a fork, a fireproof suit, a bucket of dragon biscuits, and a beehive. Now I'm going to show you what we do next, which makes it different from a traditional procedure. You can see that I've added something a little bit extra. So I've still got my materials. It's exactly the same as what I just showed you, but I have added these little things here that look kind of like a C and a backwards C next to my first material, which was the fork. Now, these curved things are called brackets. And inside brackets, when we're writing, we put extra information that isn't necessarily super important, but is still important to, or it's still good to tell the person who is reading it. So you'll see I've got fork, and in the brackets it says, make sure it's a long one so he doesn't bite your arm off too. So it's that little bit of extra information for the person reading so that they don't make a mistake when they're doing your procedure. All right, so I've done the fork. Now what I'm going to do is pause again. I'm going to fill in the rest and then go over them with you. Okay, you can see I'm done now. I have added the brackets to each of my materials, my 4 materials. I'm just going to go through them with you. All right, I went through the fork, make sure it's long enough so he doesn't bite your arm off too. The next one was the fireproof suit. I've got my brackets again, 1, 2. And this time it says fireproof suit. You don't want him to sneeze and sizzle you. So that tells you why you need the suit on. Next one, 1 bucket of dragon biscuits. Here's the bracket. Choc chip is their favourite. And the bracket again. Beehive. Think of it like one of those dog toys with the food hiding inside. And we've got the bracket at the start and at the end. And that's it. That's my materials list done. That's all we're going to focus on today. And we will have the steps video ready for you on Thursday. Before I go, remember that we have our ingredient at the start, or our material at the start. Fork, fireproof suit, 1 bucket of dragon biscuits, and beehive. Now, you don't have to underline these in yours. I'm just showing you. Those things, remember, don't go in the brackets. The material, the thing that you are using, does not go in the brackets. It goes on its own. And the extra information is what goes in the brackets. I'm going to write that down the bottom here for you and pop that at the end of the video. Good luck. I hope you can be as funny as you were yesterday. Like I said, here is your little reminder. Materials still have dot points. The material is listed first, not in any brackets, and the extra information is what goes in the brackets.